Good afternoon, everybody. This is Jeff Lyons from Builterra, and thank you for joining us on a Friday afternoon. Today's webcast, we're going to look at importing an awarded bid into the system to perform mobile inspection and progress payment reporting. So I've got a number of people on the call. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask me through the chat window. If you can't, for some reason, hear me, then also text, and I'll see if I can control the sound that way. So in keeping with these webcasts every 2 weeks, we do have a fair amount of applied content. It's not meant to be a training seminar, but more of an overview. If you need extra training, we're available on site and show you guys how to do this. So again, I use this under the hood screen for these webcasts because it does get into a fair amount of detail. Importing the items into Builterra from Excel is the very first thing we're going to look at. It's fairly straightforward, but you need to know what pages to go to and how to do it. So we're going to review it in detail today. Once you award the bid, it becomes available for the daily reporting. So we'll go through that process as well. The data entry templates and performing an inspection will show you through mobile and through the website how to do that. And then we'll get to the progress payment details and some of the particulars around that piece there. So this should take about 45 minutes to go through. You can ask questions through the text message if you want to learn, if you want to stop me. Otherwise, I'll continue and we'll take questions at the end of the session. All right, and I just get this set up. Okay. So the next slide here, this is what you normally see during our presentations. I always started off with this slide. And today we're going to be looking at the very top piece, the tender award and through to progress certification. So these, the first bit we did a few weeks ago with the real-time cost estimating and tender preparation. And then in December, we did the design CAD bit. So today, we're going to be looking at the pieces around tender award right there, okay? And in case you haven't seen the site, I think everybody online has seen the site already. So the Builterra Overview, we have a big map showing shapefiles in the background. We can go ahead and show inspection data. You'll see a little bit of that today. And of course, there's a photo map viewer. So any photos taken with your phone or device is all stored in the cloud, available through the photo map viewer. Keep in mind, this is also free to any user as part of your account. So PMs and other people in the office can have access to these photos. The look at the cost estimating, of course, we did that a few weeks ago, and today we'll be looking at the awarded tender piece. Okay, and there's a cost estimate. So let's get right into it. This would be a typical spreadsheet that you may receive from a city or a region. It's in their own format. It's generally, if it's not Excel, you can convert a PDF into Excel. The idea is to get it into a format where you can cut and paste. That's the number one objective here. Okay. Typically, they come in at the start of a job. So this means if you've got a job starting in next week, you can do this process right away. You don't have to wait to build a catalog or any of that business. And we're going to show you how to fast track that right now. Okay. The idea is we're going to get that information into the tender portal available for the inspectors. So if we go to a live demo, let me just get my screen over there. Okay, this is our demo site. And first thing we're going to do is we'll go ahead and log in. Okay. This is the first thing I want to do is show you a little bit behind the scenes. What you're going to need to do this is in the tender preparation system, in your configuration. So what's happened is I've set up a standards catalog that is called project items. You have to have at least one catalog section table with one item in it. This is just something that our system needs. So you have one item, simple as that, okay? And once you have that, the next step is to set up the template. The template itself, if we look under, there's multiple templates here, but we're going to go ahead and look under the imported project items. You can have a blank, I just called it section group and a section table. The section table is just simply the project catalog imported items table connected to a manual entry getting started pay item table here. And then the cost estimating is based on the item code, but because we're just importing this for a project, this really does bypass the whole cost estimating system and is really just good for putting it into the awarded tender format ready for the phones. You'll click off the item code, description, and the note, okay? And that gives you a nice template for just importing data as fast as you can cut and paste, essentially. So if we go ahead and create a brand new project from here, new project. Again, if I'm going too fast, go ahead and chat in the window and I can slow down. We'll go ahead and create a new project under the demo account. So the project name, this will be a roads and sewer, okay, and we'll just go RS 18 whatever. Project type, municipal. Very common for this to be a municipal project because you're going to be getting tenders in probably this month, and you're going to want to do this. The client could be the city of Oshawa. That's where we are here, by the way. And you don't have to add all this information. We can then go say it's Fixin and Wentworth. See if goes ahead and finds it. So there we are. It's pretty close. Okay. And so you can move that pointer around, say maybe onto Wentworth Street. That's where we're located. Okay. And go ahead and add it to a major and minor group. Maybe put in 2018 and create. So essentially you make a project right there, roads and sewers. Okay. The next thing you want to do is create a tender for this project, and it'll be a blank tender. Right? So there's the roads and sewer. You can create it from clicking this link, or you can pick it from this new tender option right here. So we'll go ahead and create a new tender. Now, this is basically a historic tender because historic tenders allow you to put in historic pricing. So this is the key part of this procedure, is making sure it's historical. So we'll just say it's a roads and sewer, 01, and it's okay, there we go. The closing date has to be in the past, so you'll pick the closing date of that particular tender because it is historic. And then under the template, you're not going to pick these prefab ones that you normally would. You're going to pick the imported project tenders template. This is the blank table that we were talking about before. So you go ahead and create. All right, so let's go back to the PowerPoint and just keep on track. So I tend to get away from that when I'm doing these presentations. So let's go back there. So the tender portal, we'll just do a quick review here. Import the extracted items with unit pricing. So that's our next step. In other words, we've created a blank tender using the tender template, very simple tender template. And now we're going to go ahead and grab the items from the city contract and import them into this tender. Okay. So if we go back to our live job here, this is a live project called Roads and Sewer Project. What we'll do is we'll go edit sections right there. I mean, you could rebuild it from an actual tender template, but that would take a long time, especially if you weren't used to working for the city. So you can see how it's basically nothing in the catalog, and we've got this section group, section table. So let's take a look at our original spreadsheet from the city right there. So what we've got here is we've got some site preparation items, it looks like, right there. And we'll just turn this back a bit. We've got some water main items here as well. And let me just go back to there. Okay. And there's some road items here for water services. Okay. And here we are here. So basically, these are the sections that are in that particular contract. So if we go ahead and create a site preparations cut and paste here. So what you would do is you would take these items and you would cut them, paste them into a blank spreadsheet just to make it nice and clean. Or you could, let me just allow William, okay. The easiest way to do that now is to go ahead to the import screen, and you would download an empty template right there. So here's an empty template called section table. What I should have done is rename that to site preparation. So these are our site preparation items for the contract. Go ahead and save. And because we don't really have any groups other than tables here, we can actually just drag that up and delete the entire group because we really don't need to group these items either. That's just in case you wanted to do that. Okay, so we're just left with this site preparation table here. And then there's some other tables as well. There's, let's take a look at our I've already made some spreadsheets, by the way. So we'll go ahead and look at what we've got here before we go forward. Okay, so basically I've cut and pasted this information into the sections that I needed. So I literally just took this stuff here and I made some nice clean spreadsheets. Okay, so if you go ahead and re-download that. Okay, so this is the site preparation one. We're going to go ahead and do an empty template. And when you open it up, this is basically the format that you need. Okay, and this means you can cut and paste all the items into the spreadsheet, right? The thing we're missing though is the pricing, the unit pricing. In order to get the unit pricing in for one or more bidders, you can go to the pricing tab and then add a bidder. So we could say this is ABC contracting or something, just like that. If you have more than one bidder, you could add another bidder, but we'll just add the one price because that's all we received from the city. So when you go back to the import, you can re-export this empty template, and now it shows the ABC contracting. This is what we need. So you have a blank spreadsheet that has all the fields ready to go, and this is encoded for this particular tender. So it's important that you use this empty template thing here. When you go to your nice clean cut and paste, we'll basically open up that. This is something I extracted earlier just to streamline the demo. So I can cut and paste that information. Just a second. Yeah, I can cut and paste this into my empty fields here. And just like that, we're going to copy and paste. Okay, so this means we have a nice clean version of what was in the original contract. So if I go ahead and save that now, it's keyed to this template that we've already created. So the next step is we would upload. So it's upload template, and it's usually in your downloads folder. So basically, there's your site preparation, the one I just cut and paste in. And then these are all the items, including the units and the ABC contracting. So the procedure now is just to include all the items and import selected. Okay, so once you have that, you can go ahead and basically take site preparation. You can duplicate it and maybe duplicate it again. So, and then rename these things, right? And clear the data. So if you want to call this one, what's the next one on the list here? Say sewers and water main. We'll do those two just to get it done. So we'll go sewers. And we'll go ahead and save it. And we'll do the water main here. Just clear all that data. Probably should have copied it before I imported it. And we can do the water main. Okay, and save it. So now that I've got these empty tables, I can go ahead and do the cut paste from the original city spreadsheet. So I would download the sewers template here, open it up. And if you're not used to using this import function, it's really good for doing a lot of data entry really quickly. So if you like Excel, you can fill this up with not just awarded tender information, but even stuff that comes from your staff, you know, that you want to add to a tender. So we'll just go to the sewers cut and paste that I had made earlier. Yeah. Yeah, just okay. There's the cut and paste that I had made earlier, and you grab that, Control copy, Control V, and save it off. Okay, so we save the sewers. Nice. And then we can just go ahead and upload that same sewers template that we just added the data to. So within probably half an hour or less, you can create this fully fleshed out city tender. All right, so if we go ahead and do the water main, and so do that, and we'll go to this, and we'll, again, download the empty. So we're just going to do one more, and that's it. Okay, we're just getting a little feedback there. Okay. Okay, there we go. There's our cut and paste and our thing we just downloaded. Lots of water main materials here. Control copy and Control V. There you go. Save it off, and that's the water main information. So now that we've got all that done, just close all these spreadsheets down. Let's go and upload the water mains. Good. Lots of water main stuff. Import. Notice that the pricing is all set up. The extended prices are there. Everything's in the system. Okay, so once that's all done, you can take a look at the spreadsheet with or without prices. Let's take a look at what we've created. So here's the 3 sections we just added. And if you click on ABC Contracting, this is the more or less our version of the city contract right there. So you have your logo, you have the 3 sections with the totals. And in this case, everything is under one big tab, one tab. If it is separated, you could separate that in your contract. So maybe we'll go ahead and do that for fun. So we'll edit the sections, site preparation. If you want to, you just go to configuration, start new worksheet right there. So you could do that for each one of these, and it'll come out as 3 separate tabs. There. Okay, save it. All right. And when we go back to the start, if we re-look at that ABC contracting, then it loads, but it will be in 3 separate tabs. So if you're doing, say, a land development job, they always like to split up their different tabs here. There it is. So now you have all your items in our version of the city contract. So one thing is that total is in the original inventory. Yeah. Your totals are, make sure that they're things, so if you get off, these totals have to equal. Okay, thanks. Right. So back to our PowerPoint just to stay on track. Again, if I'm going too fast, you can text me, tell me to slow down. Okay. And imported the items, you get that. So the quantities come in. You always have to verify the cost. You do not want to make a mistake here, right? Most important thing. Awarding the tender. So once you're happy with this tender, in order to get it on the phone, you have to award it. So to do award it, you have to go to the tender properties here, right there. Edit tender details. Okay, so this is a historic tender, so you're only going to get the tender details with the bidders list. If this was an active tender, you'd see all the addendum information, all of the documents information. But because this is historic, you're going to just see simply the bidders list. If you had 1 or more sets of prices, you would see all the bidders lined up here. You can now go ahead and award the contract that you just populated. So once you award, okay, and you can remove that at any time, by the way, in case you made a mistake, it flips the screen to this screen. So it went from a simple, listing of the contract totals to the inspected and paid amounts here. All right. The next step in the process is you can go ahead and tell the guys in the field to start doing progress inspection on this form. Right, so let's go back to the tender award, and you'll see that there's the summary. Okay. Let's talk about the inspection portal. Does anybody have any questions? Just checking the time here. It's 12:28. We still have good time here. So if you have any questions, just use the chat window, and I can answer them verbally. Okay, so the inspection portal is where the daily report is. If we take a look at the configuration of the daily report, again, this is something we can do for you. This is the service we provide, setting up these daily reports, customizing the look of them. So any city, particular city report, we can replicate it right down to the formatting, Word or Excel, PDF. These multiple tables represent what type of data you want to collect in that daily report. So rather than just have one long form, you'll have several tables under a single parent form. That's what we call it, the parent form. So daily inspection is the parent, and these subtables consist of various data entry screens. So in this case, the equipment type, gone ahead and created, the equipment count, the type, the hours for each. There's a calculated field called equipment hours. So we can do a webcast about the configuration of forms another time, but this is sort of what you need for the daily report. Now, the big thing here is these daily reports will be available on the mobile device. Okay, so I'm going to try and boot up my phone here, see if we can get an example of that. So let's go back to the website. Okay, we'll go to the inspection portal, and we'll take a look live to see how that's coming. So basically, we have a daily report here. Let me just go back to my tenders here. So RS 18 roads and sewers. Okay, let me just check the tenders on that. And RS roads and sewers right there. And it is, in fact, awarded. Okay, and when we go back to inspections, it's not coming up because there is no inspections for it. So I got to click on this button. I always do that. So no filter. Right, there it is right there. So when we pick daily inspection, there's absolutely no inspections for this. So let's get the phone fired up, and we'll see if we can get. If you can't see that window, let me know. Just got to plug it back in. We'll just go to Visor. That's the program I'm using here. Yeah. Okay, so it's just connecting with my phone, so you can see the display now. So we're going to set up our first form, and if it's fuzzy, it'll come in. Just give it a second. Okay, it's going to show me an advertisement because it's a freebie version. If you're ever looking to display your phone on a all right, so if we go to the daily inspection form and you go to the project, in this case, let's just sync the phone first, because I think I made a new project for that. So we'll just sync it, and now we should see the roads and sewer right there. Okay, so what we're doing, create new multi-visit form. So this is in case you haven't created a parent already, you have to create a new form that represents the daily report for that day. So you'll go ahead and press the get location. For the report name, you're going to say it's the January 26, 2018, daily progress report, something like this. Okay. And under the map, there's a get location. So that's actually my location here. If you want, you can kind of move it around a bit. And, if you felt like you wanted to move it over there, you can move it with your finger. Okay. The details, you can say it's Boundary Road. Okay. You might want to put a lookup list on that. Phase 1. Maybe the quitting time for that day is going to be, 5:30 or something. And say, okay. So this would be your daily, really the header part of the daily report. If you have any photos, you can go ahead and add a photo. You can add it from your gallery, or you can take a photo. I'll try this here. I'm sitting in my office, and we'll go ahead and accept that. And we'll say it's the road, shot, rod shot. Okay. And we'll go ahead and save it. And there we've just created our first photo for the project. So what's happening here is you would then create the parent form that all the other inspectors in the company, if they're out on the boundary, take now. So this would be a daily report that anybody with access can now select. When you go to here, you can put in comments. So the first thing I want to do is add my labor and equipment. We could go labor, but it's better to have templates set up. And again, we can talk about that on another webcast, but if you have different types of templates, you can basically load data in very quickly to, say, the same crew as yesterday. You can just make a template. So right away, we have that crew added. If we want to put in some visitors on site, you can add a visitor. You can say it's, John Smith or whatever, and say it's the city engineer. You want to put these on some kind of template as well. Say, great, you get the idea. Okay. And so you can go ahead and add all this throughout the day. Take a picture of them if you want to even. You can take a picture from any entry on this daily report. So, any kind of testing, you can go ahead and add a testing field here. It's basically, say, a pressure test. The testing measurement is, 1.3 points, whatever, right, so you can add a photo of the pressure gauge. This isn't done at the end of the day. This is done as it happens. And they're just like little text messages that go back to the site. When you get to the contract items, this actually drills down into the awarded tender. So just like that, we now have that awarded tender for the roads and sewer project appear. So the roads and sewer project, you can now go down and pick items right from the city contract. So if I said, supply the field office, okay, there's six of these, so we did 3 of them, we'll say. And we'll say it's happening today, something like this. Well, the details, you can pick a street name that it's occurring on. You might have you can set up a different lookup list for each project. So you could say it's station 10, whatever, to 10 plus something like this. And take a photo of it if you have to, and then simply submit. So for each and every contract item, you've got an active running summary of that day. And this isn't just for one person. This is for the whole team that has access, right? So we're going to do some kind of a See, it says here 175 in the contract, so say they did 50 today, which, okay, big day. So you don't have to add details, but you can. It depends if it's mandatory or not. So as you're adding these contract items, all of the work is being done now by the servers to prepare these daily and end of month progress reports. So if you want to put in some trench list stuff, you could say it's 5 meters of this, and take some details. It's on that street, and say it's 10, right, to something like this. You're getting the idea. And we'll submit one more, and there it is. If you have to review or edit the items in the field, you can go review mode, and it will display all of the items that you just submitted. And you say, something, it wasn't 50, it was a lot less than that. So you could say it was, 25. So this can all happen right from your phone. It's not very easy to edit if you're the inspector. So you can then just update. So now you're updating in real time. So back on the website, take a real quick look at that and check our time. Okay, 12:39. So when I select daily inspection now, I see today's report. There it is right there. So in real time, it's collecting all of the information on the header, the comments in the field. Okay, so these are different prefab comments. Any contract items from the city contract right there with the stationing, equipment, labor, any testing right there, any visitors. So within 5 minutes, I've actually added all of this information through on my first inspection. The photos right there. So what's happening is you've got your daily report. Okay. If you want to edit this report, the inspector or the supervisor can go in and edit the information. So say you forgot to add a contract item. So you can go to contract item and then click on the tender, and it'll pull up the awarded tender just like that. So when you say, well, they did a lot more than that, but I didn't want to use my phone, you can grab, say, this one here. It's basically 200 millimeters, 5. So say they did 3. Again, you can put in the stationing and save it. So we just added some more items. Okay. And back to inspections. So now we're looking through that data, and you can just grab the inspection and print the report. The report can be a spreadsheet or a PDF. So if I was to download the spreadsheet, it produces hopefully a customized version of what the city would expect. This is our generic one that comes with the system. Pretty simple. It's just basic Excel tables. You'd want us to customize that, I would think. But there's all the information immediately, okay? And it's ready to go. If you're an inspector now, you would want to approve this. So there's a very small approval process. As the inspector, you can mark it as reviewed, okay? You can type in an email of the contractor and get them to request them to review it, and then a supervisor would review it. Okay, so this is how it works. And throughout the day, one or more people can be adding to these items during the project reporting. Okay, so once you have that completed, and you can do other things too. You can do extra work reports. You can do sidewalk and curb inspections. I mean, the amount of inspection you can do isn't just limited to the daily reports. Okay, so back on the portal side, so that the project manager would be in the office, let's just check in with our PowerPoint, make sure I'm still on track here. So we're doing a daily report. I think you get the idea. We're pulling contract items, and it's up to date in real time. You can preview the report on the phone or iPad. I forgot to mention that. There it is there. So you can actually create inspections using your computer, which I think we just sort of showed there. You can add tender items through the web portal. Okay. And displaying the progress report. Here's a completed one from a city project that's an actual project for the City of Toronto. It's very detailed. And basically lots of photos. And that's a custom daily report that was developed for the city with the photo attachment, photo report. Okay, and this is a weekly metadata report. Again, this is a custom report that you'd have to pay us to do, but it's very affordable considering it's all automatic. There's an approval process I just mentioned, another custom daily report for Toronto Water, and then there's a once you approve the reports, which shows up on the bottom of this report, which is a name. The certificate, we'll just zip into that now. We're getting close to the end of presentation here. So when you go back to the tendering portal, when you pick the job, this is our roads and sewer job right here. Okay, so you see how it's not moving much, but it is moving. There are some quantities. It's a $3 million amount, so a very small amount. We can go into this edit payment certificates right here. And what that does is it shows you all of the payment certificates for the project. Let's go ahead and create one. So you create a new payment certificate, and so you can say it's the January 2018 PC or whatever, and you can grab it from January 1st to January 31st right here. Oh, I'm having a problem with that. To 1. Sorry about that. My sticky fingers. Okay, so January 1st to January 31st. Nice. So we go ahead and create. And so what it's done is it lists the PCs here. And when you select that now, it tells me that there was 4 items selected, right? And it was reviewed internally. And it's basically saying missing. So this will display any inspections that require further approval. So I can tell right away if something hasn't been approved. So this is you should see 4, 4, and 4. It should be fully approved, and there it is there. So you can go ahead and get people to inspect. If you're a contract administrator, you can get them to approve it before you make the PC. Okay. It'll give you the amounts. So if you go under site preparation, okay, you see how it's actually quantity this period. We have 175 of them. Basically, if you click under details, it will pull up the inspection that I just created with my phone. And if you're a tender manager, you'll be able to say, hey, that 25 let me take a look at that. So you can view the inspection. You can circle back and view the original inspection with all of the appropriate details here. Okay. There's a show history button, allow you to go through and review various edits to this particular inspection if need be. So you can pull in all the different edits at any one time. So it tracks every single edit. Okay. So if you go back to the tender here, payment certificate, there it is. So you can check all of your totals, and there's the water main information there. So throughout the month, this, of course, would build up. If I added a new inspection right now, it would show that it's out of date, and I would simply update, and it would update the numbers. You can group the PC based on a location variable. Say I just wanted to show it for King Street, something like that. So that's how that works. The next step is really just once you create the PC and check it, you can download the payment certificate right there. So downloading the payment certificate. Some people have complex holdbacks and other things. You could create a cover sheet and use this as a payment details report. So this looks just like the original spreadsheet that we created when we imported from the city. The site preparation items are all here. It shows you anything that's been quantified. Okay, and there it is right there. The sewer details here, nothing done there, and then the water main. So this is essentially an export to Excel. You can send that off to the client, put it on your network server, and you can be sure that throughout the job, you'll have an accurate tally or dashboard into the job. Okay, let's just check in with the PowerPoint because I do get ahead of that. So we are looking at summaries, yes. Over the next 6 months or sooner, you'll see a lot of dashboard reporting and analytics coming out of Builterra, looking at some really cool reporting. Creating a PC, no problem. Specifying the start and end dates, as simple as that. The export to Excel, which everybody loves. If there's holdbacks, you can have up to 3 holdbacks. I'll just say here, there's a change order system. So if you are looking to do a change order, you can click on a change order for January. So you say January CO1 or something. All right. So you can add a January order. Okay, something like this. What it means is you want to add items. You can say it's extra items like this. Okay. So the change order system, the simplest thing to do is, again, just grab your project items, the imported items, the getting started. So there's a little bit of training here, but basically you can just grab a manual entry, pick this stuff here, and say create, and it creates an entry screen that you can then drag and drop an extra item into. And if it's a special, sometimes they put a different code on here, like this. That's a change order code. Say, break into manhole and install sewer or something like this. Bad spelling, eh? Okay, so just turn that back. Oh, all right. Any notes? The quantity, say it's a lump sum item, so you can just say it's a lump sum, and it's going to cost you 13,000 whatever, and you can save it. So once you have this done like this, you can go ahead and this is a contemplated change order. Once you approve it, then you can approve it here and save it. So once you've done that, back on the phone, and I don't know if I can do that because we're almost out of time here. Yeah, so the change orders will appear back on the phone for the staff to start booking items on that. So you can essentially go there and start adding that information right away to a change order. Okay, so you can add some, say it's 0.5, they did it half of it today or something. Half the work done today. Okay, save it. All right, so then all of a sudden you've got half that work, the 6928 is payable on this PC, right? Okay, so when you regenerate the spreadsheet, oh, you get a little error, I guess. Not sure what that's about. It should show the pay item change orders as a separate line item on your project. Okay, so if we go back to the PowerPoint, there's the details and questions. So we've got 5 minutes left. If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat window. I'll open up the audio as well. And let me just see if I can do that. Okay. So I'm going to unmute. I've unmuted it. Otherwise, there will be a webcast posted to a link to YouTube, so you can watch this again or send it around to anybody else in the company who needs it. Okay, so if there's no questions, email me or call me anytime. Chris Stebbing is also available for some support. Grady and Jordan are here as well. If you have problems or request tenders to be added, we can do that very quickly, especially if you got a job starting in the near future. Okay, so why don't we end it with that? And thanks for joining me today. And we'll talk to you in a couple weeks.